This is my co-host, Arthur Meeker from Extreme Graphics.
Yep.
And we have Bobby Samai.
Yep.
And he has a very cool story that I know very little about. So you're probably going to be required to do some talking here.
Absolutely.
But first things first, he brought me a gift. So you guys can just enjoy yourselves. I am going to take a look at my gift.
I
won't open that, I promise. But no, thank you. I've got a word that I always write down whenever I look at people's bios and things like that, and kind of get an idea of what I'm curious about, of who we bring in or who we talk to and things like that. And my word for you is failure, because your success is amazing, and what you've done and things that I've read, it's amazing how it's just like, you cracked that egg and then off you went. And so the word failure was the one that I thought of. I was like, because I'm sure you've had your fair share. I'm really curious about that, because a lot of people don't realize that to be successful, you take a lot of hits.
Yeah.
People always like to look at the end. People always come to you and go, oh, it must be nice, or things like that. But I am sure if you've had your fair share of hits. But to create something this amazing that has had such an impact, and it's like when they decided to bottle water for the first time. You're like, who's going to buy bottled water?
Right.
But this is a significant invention that you've kind of put together here. And it's like, where did that come from?
I mean, it started with the pandemic. The pandemic threw me off the cliff and said, you're either going to fly or you're going to fall. And I decided to jump and fly. My goal was to create a business that I could enjoy my life with my family as long as I could, and not have to worry about a job that I have to go be in 9 to 5 and work for somebody else's career. But I said back then, I want to create something that has the ability to grow and be around for years and years and years, and maybe make some potential impact on some people's lives. I didn't start with a water bottle. I learned back in May of 2020 about this fulfillment method called drop shipping, where you don't facilitate and own the product. You don't buy it and have hundreds of them in your home or in your warehouse. You make a deal with a manufacturer, and it could be in China, in India, Taiwan, whatever country you want that has manufacturing. And you then create the demand for the product after you have the manufacturing deal, and then you sell the product that they have to the consumer with your marketing abilities, and directly ship it from the manufacturer to the consumer. So you don't actually have to touch it and hold inventory and build up and have capital expenses up front. And when I learned about that, I said, that's amazing. You don't have to have a lot of money to build this business up the front. Let's start with something, see how it goes. In July and August of 2020, I found these inflatable swimming pools. I created a brand around it, and I sold over $200,000 worth of inflatable swimming pools in just a few months. That was off to the races. That moment I learned this is a possible, method of business. I don't have to have all this upfront money, and I just, can turn it into a lot more money. Well, from there, swimming pools is a seasonal product. It doesn't stay forever, but I learned what you asked of the failures. I learned from my failures then, because I didn't know customer service, I didn't know returns, I didn't know cash flow, I didn't know all of the ins and outs. I was on the phone with my credit card company and my bank at the same time, telling them, yes, I got the payment, yes, it's coming up, it's enough. And I had to have them talk together. It was just wild learning in a course of like 90 days. I've never seen that much money in my life in one time, and in 90 days I had that much money. And I had to figure out how to work through that. And from there, I iterated a few different products. It wasn't just straight to the winning one. That's where the failure, I had to learn how to fail fast and fail as efficient as possible. Because my failures they were expensive. I would spend some money and then lose it. Advertising, meta advertisement, you can drop thousands of dollars in meta and watch it make nothing. Or you can drop, a few hundred and watch it make a ton, depending on what your creative and copy looks like. So I learned, reiterated. In November of 2020, I was browsing a website called Flippa, and I was looking at what was out there, who was selling what. It's a marketplace for apps and Amazon stores and Shopify stores. And so I was browsing around, and I found a kind of a similar product, but they didn't have anything near what we have today. And I was like, this is interesting. And they showed a revenue of about $30,000 a month. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. If they're doing $30,000 a month with a pretty, interesting product, but I could probably 10 times do better than what they did with their website, their marketing, their product. So if I could do that, couldn't I make 300 grand? My mindset. Well, November was like 14 grand. It was small. But by the next year, I saw the numbers grow. I was able to reiterate my product, grow from there, build a better website, build better marketing, use all the skills that I learned over the course of those 6-8 months. And I started to grow. But failure still happened. I mean, I put out advertisements that flopped. And I spent hundreds or not thousands of dollars on something that made nothing.
Yeah, isn't it funny how you get so excited about something, you're like, oh, this is gonna, you get so fired up, and then nothing.
It just dropped. Yeah, and I remember launching my ads at like 12:01 a.m. Most of my day. So I back up a little bit. 2020, the pandemic hit. I got laid off. I was the full-time employee, making the most and helping my family grow. My wife was working full-time in healthcare, and she wasn't making much, maybe like 50, 60,000 a year. And we were kind of worried about what was going to go on in the pandemic. She was on off schedules, on schedules, had to be on team A versus team B with how the pandemic was. They didn't know where what the consistency of her job was going to look like. And me, I'm sitting here with our 1-year-old son at the time, from 7:30 in the morning when she goes to work until about 5 o'clock at night when she gets home. And I was taking care of him, starting this business, trying to figure it all out. And then my wife would get home. It would be family time till like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And then I would go to the garage, shut the door. My wife would go to sleep. I'd put my son down, or she would put my son down. And I'd go to work. I would be on my computer from 11:30, 12 o'clock at night till like 4 o'clock in the morning. And I would be constantly building ads, updating the website, learning through YouTube. I mean, YouTube is such a great resource. If people aren't watching enough YouTube content to learn, they need to. That right there is YouTube University. You can learn
Great
almost
advice.
anything.
I love that advice.
That's what I do.
Yeah, YouTube U is amazing. And I probably learned the majority of what I have created today through watching other people and what they did, and either what they failed at or what they succeeded at. And I really had this, I guess, vision in my head that one day, which is today, I will have a business that will be successful. I'll have a brand that now over 100,000 people have my product, and I will be able to be at my house with my family, or wherever I want with my family when I want to. I don't have to, be in an office, be in a meeting. I mean, this is enjoyment. This is fun. I get to come here and enjoy this time versus feeling like I have to be somewhere. And that mindset, if I kept that mindset the whole time, there was nothing that was going to stop me.
Well, I mean, it's really kind of one of those stories where you see the tip of the iceberg, but you really don't see the body underneath. You had a lot that you had to put into this. So what has been a product that you had that was just, did not do what you thought it should do? Have you been fortunate enough not to have that?
No, I definitely had that, yeah. I tried dog beds. I tried selling these really cool dog beds.
Yeah.
And the marketing behind it was just really hard to get. Even if you had a dog bed and you had a pretty dog on it, people did not relate, and they weren't wanting to buy your dog bed on the internet. They'll go to the Petco or Walmart's or Costco's to get the dog bed. And so I spent more money than I made on that, and I lost, but I learned. Some things don't hit, some things have needing a different market. Maybe Facebook advertisements weren't the right channel. Maybe it was some kind of blog for pets, and that would have been better. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because you wonder, but that's living and learning. I mean, I think in our industry, in the pizza industry, we do flavor beer and things like that, and having a little bit in the beer industry, everybody wants variety, everybody wants these types of things, but when it actually comes to it being in your cooler and somebody's on the phone going, hey, I want to get a beer or whatever, they won't buy the good stuff. They'll buy what they know or what they have. And so we work so hard to try to say, we've got this great selection. It's all craft beer. It's local beer. It's all these people, all that stuff. But man, nothing. Couldn't sell it to save my life. 2 years.
That's when you need a flight, like a tester.
See,
right?
but
Little shots. And
as
you give
a pizza
everybody
delivery
that for-
company,
Oh, yeah.
they can't, there's no connection like that and stuff. So I had to learn that, there's certain things that you can't connect the emotion or what you need to make that go, even though what you're giving them is great.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, this beer is so much better. Flavor profile, everything is better. Like, nah, I'll just have that stuff, and that was interesting. So as you're talking about, like the dog bed, you just wonder, like, I wonder what it was that people just couldn't connect to. What was that element. And you said you attacked it different ways and spent money trying to do that. But so what's been the easiest one?
I mean, the swimming pools felt pretty easy, but this was back before iOS.
And when I say easy, I apologize.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
mean
nothing,
easy like, you know.
Nothing was easy. I mean, I've trained a few other I've mentored a few other e-commerce entrepreneurs, and I've watched them fail and I've watched them succeed, and I knew none of this was going to be easy, but they felt like, oh, you look like you just did this so easily. Once they jumped into it and they're like, this is hard, Bobby. Yes, it is. But it's rewarding if you come out on the other side and you don't give up. Consistency, resiliency, all of that brings you to the winning side. If you don't give up, you're eventually going to win.
I don't think people really see that. I think that's the one thing. I mean, the message that's really important in this is you just got to get up. You got to keep going. And you just got to go, okay, that wasn't quite right, or that aspect of it wasn't quite right, and you just keep chipping away and you kind of refine what you do, and then all that can be swept away, and then it's like, all right, we're starting this process again.
Yeah.
You know, in ours, as we've grown from store to store, we have the same product, same everything, same brand, same all this. It's great. But every area is very different.
Right.
Customers connect to you in different ways, in different areas. You know, the Tannersport location, it's all digital, so it's really hard because you lose the interaction between, you know, and some of the smaller communities where you have all that interaction. You know, that's where our strengths are because of customer service. You know, we're big into customer service. That's our big thing, you know, and Arthur's the same thing, very, very hands-on in his industry, you know, with this community and things like that. And some areas you don't get that opportunity. 60% of our customers don't, or 40% of our customers don't even call us anymore. They just go right online. And then 40% get third-party deliveries that don't even see us at the door. And so we lose a lot of that stuff. And with an industry like yours, how much customer service do you even have to deal with?
A ton. Yeah, we have people who email us. We probably have a queue of 100 a day. And between emails, DMs, phone calls, text messages, I have a team of 3 people working out of the Philippines, and they're amazing. They want to take care of our customers like they are here in a store with them, or they are selling them their product. They're talking to them like they are the owners of the company. And that's what I do, as I empower them to be that kind of mentality as owners of this company. Even though they physically don't own the company or have any investments in it, they mentally feel like this is their business. And then when they see something negative, I've empowered them to make it right, no matter what. You know, if that means refunding them 100%. You know?
So tell me, people want to know, so why Ion Water?
Yeah.
Let's get into the dirt of it. Yeah.
Well, when I started this business in 2020, there was a different product out there. It wasn't as developed and refined as it is today. We actually have 5 different products today that we offer. This is today our tumbler, a 32-ounce tumbler. The way it works is it uses electrolysis in the base of the bottle. So 2 titanium electrolytic plates separated by a proton exchange membrane. I know it's a lot of high-term jargon.
Do you see that on my face?
Yeah, you're like, what is that? Well, a proton exchange membrane only allows the smallest ions, right? So hydrogen is the smallest, lightest molecule in the universe, and it's also the most abundant. When we have water, we drink H2O. That's a bonded molecule of 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. When you separate the hydrogen into its molecular hydrogen form, it works differently. It's a completely different molecule. It's a gas molecule that now will penetrate your cellular tissue when you drink it much faster, which gives you rapid hydration. Your cells, your muscles, the mitochondria, your ATP, all of that is now improving. Hydration, we already knew, was a key element to a good health. Well, now it's just a boost. We just figured out, and this was in 2007 in Japan, that if we separate the molecules and push it back in through a pressurized container system, we can leave up to about 5 parts per million. Some people have been able to achieve up to 8, but 5 is pretty much the standard average now. And that's a good enough therapeutic level that if you drank a few of these bottles every day, you'll start seeing in your lab test results, you'll start seeing numbers decreasing, like people's lipid numbers or people's A1C numbers are balanced out. People will start seeing actual factual data from their consistent hydrogen water versus just drinking regular water every day.
Did you absorb any of that?
I did.
Okay.
I'm going to absorb a lot more water too.
You will.
I do have a question. Is that are you able to add stuff? I'm not a water drinker. Is it
Flavor?
Does it? Yeah. I usually like put something in it to make it flavorful.
It's best not to do it directly into the unit here because then you contaminate the proton exchange membrane. It's a small permeable membrane at the bottom. It's like literally microscopic. You can't see the holes. So that's just to allow the hydrogen. If you put something in there like sugar or any kind of additive flavors, you might damage that. So we don't recommend it. You can directly pour the water out from the bottle. We even have a 64-ounce home pitcher.
Okay.
So you can directly put the hydrogen into it, pour it into a glass, add your Mio or whatever flavor you want, and then drink from there and still have the same benefits within 15 minutes. Because hydrogen does like to go out really fast, but if it's drank within 15 minutes, you're going to have the same benefit.
Okay, so when you're charging the bottle or your water, because I see the bubbles now and stuff, when you push that button, does it do that for a while? I mean, is there like
There's timers, yeah. One tap on the button on the power button is a 5-minute timer.
Okay.
2 taps is a 10-minute timer, and that will release up to the maximum amount of hydrogen for the volume. So for this bottle, you're going to get about 3 parts per million.
Okay.
Yeah.
I notice yours is not doing that, Arthur.
I haven't turned it back on. It turns off. Yeah.
Yeah, it has a timer.
And it charges with just a wall USB
USB-C.
plug. Yeah, USB-C.
So, is this this is your latest product? Are you looking for a next product or next thing? Are you constantly in that thing? Or are you
Constantly. It's
focused?
just like Apple. We constantly have to reinvent. We have to listen. So I have a feedback loop, a customer feedback loop. We have about 12,000, I think it's like over 12,500 now, in a Facebook group called Hydrogen Water Heals. So if anybody's on Facebook, Hydrogen Water Heals. That group has people talking about their experience with my IonBottle or not having it yet, asking questions about what is people's experience with their IonBottle. And then we get a lot of people's testimonials saying, I can tell you one right now off the top of my head. There was a lady, she emailed our support team and she said, I need to talk to your owner really bad right away. So my support team messaged me and said, hey, there's a customer that seems like they have something wrong and they need to talk to you right away. Here's their phone number. I called and I talked to her. This was November, but this was 2022. But November 2022, I called her and she sounded frantic, sounded worried. And I thought immediately like something was wrong, let's help. She said, how does this work? And I explained to her just like I explained to you. And she says, I want you to know I bought about 2 of your bottles in November of 2022. My son was having debridement removal surgery on his foot. He has type 2 diabetes and he had neuropathy in his foot. He had scar tissue basically building up. And the surgeon came out to the waiting room and said to the lady, like, if your son has to come back again for more debridement removals, it will most likely be an amputation because we don't have much skin tissue to be able to clean. And she was frantic and she was worried and she started searching and praying and she said she found my ad for a hydrogen water bottle and how it helps with inflammation and type 2 diabetes. She bought 2 of them in 2022, November. By February 2023, this is when I get the message from my customer support team. She said, I need to know how these work because my son's foot is healed. Like, he doesn't have to go back for surgery. Explain how this works. And so I did. And she was crying, I was crying. And she said, I want to buy 20.
Yeah, that would be
I sold her 20 right there so she can give them to all her fans, friends, and family.
talk about coming full circle. How awesome that would be to get that phone call.
Yeah.
So what has Ion water bottles and Ion bottles done for you and for your family?
It's life-changing. I mean, being a business owner alone is life-changing. You get to control your time, you get to control your income to some extent. But you also have like this creative mindset that there's no walls that you can't overcome, right? There's no heights that you can't climb higher. You can always do it with an entrepreneur mindset. There's nothing that will stop you. But I remember when I was working corporate at a 9 to 5, I always felt like there was a height, like, oh, you can't go higher than that.
Right.
That's your ceiling.
Yeah.
And once you become an entrepreneur and you're like, you better jump or freaking fly, I flew and I said, there's nothing that's going to stop me from reaching this level of success where I will be with my family doing what I want when I want.
That's fantastic. That's
Well,
really
Arthur,
good.
you've always been in business for yourself, right?
Yeah.
I've kind of bounced around a little bit here, work for people, and that was the number one thing what you just said, the ceiling. When you work for someone else, there's always a ceiling because all my energy and all my passion, all that stuff I did for somebody else, it didn't change. People look at me as an entrepreneur, they go, oh, Mike, I got so much energy just doing this, do that, and do this. I did it for somebody else too.
Yeah.
It's not just, you just didn't blossom like that when you becoming your own business owner and things like that. It actually is kind of who you are. And so with you, it's nice that you took that ceiling away and realized that, yeah, it's kind of nice not to have one, but it's freeing. But at the same time, the security's not there either.
Yeah, nobody's giving me a paycheck every 2 weeks, except for myself, right?
Yeah, it's just a fear that, there's a lot of people, it's hard. That's a hard one to overcome.
Yeah.
Is to know that you could lose everything. I had the gentleman that I worked for before, Shapur is his name, and he said that in his country, you could work, you can get all the way to the top, but you stay there. But in America, you can spend 20 years getting to the top and going through that, but in 1 year lose it all. Mm-hmm. He said, and that's that fear of always having it. But, I find that when you're an entrepreneur, that you can crumble and you just automatically, your brain starts going, okay, we're going to start building again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's figure out how to rebuild this and take care of it and do what we need to do. And, but you almost have to not have that ceiling to have that floor, which is kind of, how I looked at it. And I like that
good.
because to get out on your own and be an entrepreneur and to make your own rules in a way, take all the abuse and everything else that comes with it, it's that's living for me. And I mean it's neat that you went from it was a corporate job, just 9 to 5 kind of thing, but at 3 a.m. you're going, oh Lordy, You don't really have to worry about that in a corporate job. You're like, I got to get up at 8
Oh yeah,
or 7.
At 6 o'clock on a corporate day, my brain shut off. Right,
Yeah.
I was able to be free. Now with the entrepreneur mindset, it's never off.
Ever.
Never off.
That's the hardest part, is the balance of reminding yourself to turn it off just for a little bit.
This is impossible.
Take some personal time.
I don't know how that's.
That's one of my biggest battles too.
Feels like it's impossible to turn it off.
I have messages on my phone that pop up. My first one starts at like 7:30 in the morning. It says, ground yourself.
Ugh.
Just reminds me to get up, go stand outside, get a cup of coffee.
Barefoot.
Yeah.
And what?
And barefoot.
That's the grounding.
On the ground?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Just making
And-
sure you're not out there in your sneakers.
No, I don't get up in the morning, put my high heels on yet.
Okay,
I just I walk out there in my bare feet and just take a cup of coffee and watch that sun come up, or the sun's usually just coming up at that time. But that's what I have to do. If not, I get up and I'm thinking, okay, what do we need to accomplish today, or what's going on, or where we're at. In your situation, you've got all these emails that come in and things like that, and they all matter. Mm-hmm. There isn't anything that doesn't matter. I think that's what people think, is you just kind of flip this switch, because I think the mindset comes from a lot of the working for somebody else mindset, and they just apply what they think being an entrepreneur is about. It is nothing like what people would imagine.
What's the one thing that you would tell somebody that's up and coming and wants to be an entrepreneur, have their own brand or their own merchandise? What would the one key thing that you would tell them to do?
Don't give up after your first failure,
There you go.
because that's going to send you back. If you give up, you're not going to succeed at all. But if you don't give up, then you have a chance.
Yeah.
And the failure is going to come. Embrace it. Make sure you learn from it, because failure is the best learning tool I've ever had.
Yeah.
Success almost numbs you, but failure, that drives me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So go back before in your corporate world. What did you do in your corporate world?
I was a business manager for a business consulting company. Before that, I worked for the Chamber of Commerce in Albany, and before that, I was the director of marketing for an internet service provider. And in all those roles, my job was to work with people. And people is like how you build. You can build a business with knowledge of how to work with people, how to sell to people, how to communicate right to people, because we're all people and we're all the ones who are consuming this product. So if you can't communicate and work with these people, then you're not going to do well. But yeah, I learned a lot through those steps.
Yeah, I think communication is really huge. We work on that in our shop all the time, with communication between each other, customers, everything. And I really track back a lot of issues. If there's going to be any kind of issues or any kind of problems, it always really leads back to communication errors. So I really like that.
Yeah.
What new products do you have? Anything that you want to leak out that you?
Nothing I can leak out today. We're in
Thinking about it?
development for a new product that's going to outpass our competitors who now they're doing pretty good, but we have a new product that's gonna.
Actually, lock the door. I need to find out what
We can't talk about
I
it.
need to find out what this new product is. You'll get hungry. Don't worry, you'll get hungry.
Bring the pizza.
I'll just start showing you pictures of pizza on the thing.
Okay.
All you gotta do is let me know, and you can have one of these.
It's going to be better. It's going to be more powerful. It's going to have all of the bells and whistles that these models have, and it's going to have the ones that we've been asked for. We get these feedback loop, and we have customers who say, "Put this in here." We're like, "All right." So we added the straw. That was actually one of the number one requests was a straw. They don't want to open their bottle because I have 3 different models that have a twist-off lid, just like a normal bottle. You twist it off and you drink it. Well, people are saying, "Why can't I just have a straw?" Well, there was a problem with that. Leak. Like, have you ever owned a Stanley and flipped it over? It just leaks.
Yeah.
And with ours, we have to have pressurization. And so we have to make it so well that this plastic can't crack. And it's made from Triton material. So it's strong, pure as glass, but yet it's not going to crack under the pressure. And then the lid has to have a certain type of seal so that when you open it, that there is enough pressure to keep the gas inside.
Just imagine you turning the thing and having a loose straw and the straw shoot out the top of it or something, like, no, because this is all like mechanical. It's all part of the
Yeah, it's all part of it.
bottle.
There's no straws coming out, but there is pressure on some of the other models. When you open the bottle after pressing the power button and you had it sealed for the timer, you'll hear a tss sound. And it's not CO2. It's pressure from the hydrogen pushing up. And it's in the water. It's creating whatever space in there is going to have that pressure. So if you fill it up too much, you can actually damage it. We have, on certain models, you have the mark that says max fill.
Okay, because my wife that would be the number one thing for her. I don't do straws, but my wife, that's the one thing when she gets water bottles, she wants to have that flip top which is exactly what you just have.
There you go.
And so I don't know.
Listening to customers, and it's going to be an easy way to succeed.
How do you do that with them? Okay, so you have some folks in the Philippines that handle a lot of the customer service and things like that. And they take a lot of those calls and concerns and questions and all that stuff.
Yep.
How's the communication that way?
We use a channel through Discord. We used to use Slack, but it wasn't the best, so we used to switch to Discord, and we just communicate with the team. Their schedule, it's kind of crazy. The Philippines are very Americanized with their technology and their teachings. They speak fluent English. They know our products. They know our culture. They understand Americans. And so it was so easy to work with them, to have them help our customers, because it was like hiring somebody here in America. But somebody here in America might feel entitled. Somebody here in America demands certain things. I'm like, you know what? We're giving you this. It's really awesome. Why don't you be successful and happy with that? Well, I don't want to have that demand on me. So the Philippines, they're so happy, so grateful. I helped one of my employees buy a house last year because she had such a longevity with me for over 2 years. She was able to get a mortgage in the Philippines. And I was so, it felt good to help an employee get a house.
That's another reward of being an entrepreneur is we're in a stepping stone industry in my world. And we're in that age group where they make that turn. And to be able to hopefully plant the right seeds and get them going in a really good direction to help their future them, do those types of things. That is probably the most rewarding thing that I deal with, because we only get a small shot at them and stuff. And so it's to be able to do that. And where, Arthur's got more long-term employees, and so he gets to grow with them and be there more often through that process and stuff. And for you, different country altogether, and you still get to see that. But I still think regardless of how that is, that's where a lot of the reward is at. I really enjoy that, And then there's two sides of that sword as well.
I can imagine with the customers hearing the success stories. I know I've been using one of the IonBottles for a couple of years now, and I have my times where I'll just go in and heavy, and I'll drink all the time on water, and I feel the best. I feel more alert. I feel my body feels better about it. I have a lot more energy. And then if I don't drink it for a while, I feel my body going back to it. It's kind of amazing. So I bet that when you hear those success stories with your clients, that's part of makes the happiness of all the work that you put into doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's really cool.
How many have you sold?
Bottles?
Yeah.
We are over 100,000 units.
Okay. And
So,
is that like all together, even from the old model ones?
Yeah.
Or is this the new model?
No, so each model, I mean, we discontinued a few, but each model has a demand on it. So this model is our latest model. I think we were only at about like 10,000 units total so far. But all the other ones have, some of them have 60,000 units of sold because it's the most popular brand, or most popular model.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what time frame was that again?
From 2021 to today.
Yeah,
So just a few years.
that's awesome.
When do you see the most? When do you see an uptick on the sales?
Black Friday.
Black Friday.
Yeah, I mean, we're big on gifts. People like to buy them around Christmas time, give them as gifts. So Black Friday, Cyber Monday are the biggest sale days. Sometimes like July, we had a pretty big sale day of July 4th of July. Yeah, that's about biggest time is the Christmas holiday shopping time. And that's where we have the best deals. We'll give, buy one, get one free, or, some kind of discount.
Oh, that's awesome. When so what this is going, you're continuing to looking for a new model, a new product, or whatever. Do you see yourself doing branching out of this? Do you see yourself doing other things? Do you have any ideas of that?
Yeah, for sure. I love to stay in the health and wellness industry. I think that people like Gary Brecka, the people you mentioned earlier, are helpful when it comes to pushing the right things out there to the right people and make sure that his marketing message is consistent with what we're trying to sell. And I think the health and wellness industry has quite a few different products that I could create today and create something very similar to what IonBottles has turned into, and marry them into the same ecosystem of health and wellness. You got your hydrogen wellness, maybe you have your supplement wellness program, or maybe something else. I like what Crystal Hart is doing.
Yeah.
And she's really cool with her sound baths and meditation stuff. So all of the healing that you guys, that all that encompasses today, would be really good to have as a brand. I like the holistic health brand.
Yeah, I think that's a
the
very
new one I see is the grounding mat.
Yeah, EMF mats.
yeah.
Get rid of those EMFs, electromagnetic field.
Then the latest one I've seen too, though, is just a lot of it has to do around digital. I'm learning like the 5G. That's kind of a hot topic right now. Is that effect that it has on you within a certain distance? And it even says, if you look in the in the phones and in the all the little writing and stuff, it talks about the fact that it's not healthy for you to have a phone. And so they talk about how to distance yourself from your phone, tend to
Yeah.
and to be far enough away from it and stuff. And so I think they're creating some things like that. So the health and wellness industry, I think, is actually starting that to be a boom. I think people are really starting to be more conscientious. I think you're right in the right spot.
Everybody woke up around 2020.
Yes,
Yeah.
they did.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I woke up and my wife woke up. We're like, hey, we're eating plastic all day.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't use paper plates. They're coated in plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, no, the pizza industry exploded during that time when all you guys were, being able to expand your minds and do that. I was working my tail off trying to make sure you guys were fed.
Well, that's great, because the pizza industry I could see booming when all the other restaurants started closed down.
Well, the COVID thing was when when COVID came out for us, it was just all about telling the customer base that, hey, we're as tightly taken as we can, and so we had no contact deliveries with credit cards, so we didn't even have to deal with anybody and things like that. And so that was a big, we had to do some pivoting early when that COVID happened to try to adjust for those things. And we were super, super busy, which I'm so thankful for.
I see the health and wellness still growing. There's so many different modalities out there for that, and there's just so much opportunity for so many different, not just products, but everything. I know that one big thing that's booming now is, and there's several apps you can get, and you can scan your deodorant and your soaps to see if there's bad chemicals in it. My wife, Crystal, she has an app on her phone, and whenever she needs deodorant or the kids need deodorant, she scans their thing, and it tells you what's good and gives a rating, 1 through 10 of how good it
Really?
is. Yeah. And,
Bad for you, bad for you,
yeah,
bad
so
for
I'm
you.
like, well, I really like the scent of that.
You need to
And
move
she's
out.
Like, let me scan that. She goes, oh, that's only got a 2, and so that's really important. I think that's great that you come up with something something new.
Yeah, I have a friend who started a supplement brand just a couple years ago, and he recently shared on his Instagram his brand just crossed in July 1.4 million in the month
Wow.
of a
That's
supplement
fantastic.
industry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, you can grow from in just a few years to now in 30 days making it 1.4 million. Mm-hmm. I mean, IonBottles kind of can get to that, but it's not consistently going to get to that. So there's other opportunities out there.
Yeah.
I was wondering with that, a lot of the things that we do are collaborations with other companies and things like that. We've worked with different companies for different reasons and things. Is this something that you would collaborate with them with and say, hey, listen, if you could add this to whatever you're doing, is there collaboration possibilities with those other industries you're talking about? I mean, have you looked at that, or do you look at more as like, how can I create this and take this,
I've looked at both opportunities. Collaborating is great. It's not as lucrative as creating my own. And my mind goes, why don't create my own? If I see somebody has a business that's successful, that if I can rip off and duplicate in a way, but have my own spin, why not?
Yes.
Create another path that if I see some, low hanging opportunity, but also I see maybe missed, like I saw when I first started IonBottles, missed opportunities in marketing, missed opportunities in their website, missed opportunities in just the way their customer service was. If I can improve those segments, then why can't I do better? I would be. And so I see an opportunity. I won't want to just partner with them. I'll say, you're my competition.
Can I do it? Yeah. No, I love that. Is a true entrepreneurial mind right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love that. I love that, how you take that and you own it. I've known you for a long time, and I've known you in the different roles that you've had before IonBottles, and we've worked together, and you have always been that way with everything that you do. No matter what you've done, back when you were at the internet company, we worked together on the marketing side of things, and you would, you're very set in your ways, and you're, like, hey, do me a proof of this, and we do a proof. Nope, you got to change that a little bit to this and a little bit to that, and you're just very, very on it, and that's one of the things I really like about you.
Oh,
So
thank you,
that's
Arthur.
really
Appreciate that.
Yeah, back then I didn't like it.
No,
as
I was going
much.
to say, some people don't like it, right?
No, back in those days, I didn't like it as much. What is he talking about? He doesn't.
Why is he
know.
telling me what to do? Yeah, no,
That's
for
always
sure.
great, yeah.
It's like it might be a type A thing, or type A, or it might just be like I like meticulous detail on everything.
Yeah.
So if I see something that's not the way I want it, and somebody tries to convince me, no, this is the right way, and my brain goes, you're wrong. Let me show you.
Yeah.
And then when I do, it's pretty spot on.
Yeah.
I get it right. And
Yeah.
if I'm wrong, I will admit I'm wrong, and I will say you were right. Thank you for pointing that out. I was wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's you have to be able to learn from that moment.
Absolutely.
I think I'm the same way.
Yeah. Just like feeling I'm right, and then if you
Yeah.
can prove me wrong,
Yeah.
okay, you're right.
Yep.
I don't know. I have that with my wife all the time. And she goes, "You want to bet me?"
Doesn't
and I'm
work.
like, a long time ago, I learned not to bet her because as soon as she says, "You want to bet me?" I know that she's going to be
She's
right.
Plus, I have
So
women's intuition on top of it too.
So
So.
Very true.
I've lost some Benjamins on that. Of course, she'll put the stakes really high. When soon as she goes, "Want to bet 100 on it?" I'm like, "No, you're right." So no, that's a kind of a funny little.
I like it because my wife is way smarter than I am. So whenever I do that, we're like, oh, you want to put a little wager on this? She's learned no, because I won't wager unless I know I'm going to win. And so it was the only advantage I had, but I lost it because she figured me out. So she's like,
So
nah.
you're not a good lover.
No, I'm just going to sit over here and just know I'm smarter than you and be happy with that. So is your wife working still, or do you
Nope.
guys still? You guys are all.
She retired herself in, I want to say it's December of 23. She was
How
able to
awesome
be
is
home.
that?
Yeah, be home with our kids now. We have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, and she's home full time with them. She's also homeschooling our 6-year-old. Just went through kindergarten with them, starting first grade in September. It's been amazing.
Nice.
Kind of like you design your life, because before even COVID, my life wasn't designed. It was more like a path that I walked that I kind of just kept going. It wasn't designed. It was where was the next thing that I was walking to just showed up. When I designed my life, I actually sat down and said, okay, know what's going to happen, but I want this and this and this, and I don't want that. And so if I told myself this, and not that, I gave myself a path. And then as I walked that path, this things started happening and not that.
You could say that's manifestation.
Exactly. It's manifestation. I've been thinking about it long enough, and then you start seeing the things, you're like, whoa, this is where I'm at. I thought about this 10 years ago, and now I'm here.
That's right. Absolutely.
That's not as easy as people think.
Oh, no, it's not easy. That's where the consistency is.
Discipline. I always think it's the difference between motivation and discipline. If you're disciplined to walk that path you're talking about and be willing to make the changes necessary, that's what it takes. Because it never is the way you think it's going to be.
Right.
But at the same time, it is. And that's, I think, the mystery of the whole thing is people say, well, that doesn't make any sense at all. But it really is how it works. And I think for me, I don't know about you, Arthur, but for me in my journey, it's, I look back and it all looks pretty simple. It just looks like it's just pretty simple. But as you walk through it, though, there's so many, the questions, the concerns, the constant unknowing and all this stuff as you're kind of forging your own path in so many ways. Because you don't have that ceiling and that structure that you're walking through, it's all just a little bit different. I think that's the part, because just today is the same thing as it was when we first started. You're still thinking, what can I do? How can I do it? When can I do it? All those types of things. Still today the same as 26 and a half years ago for me. Well, it was that way a long time ago too, but still. So your next journey, you say you can't let us know about, you probably have the same emotions with that one as you did your first product of you've changed, you got smarter, but you know what I mean? It's I wonder what I can do with here. I don't know. It's the same questions.
Yeah. A little less fear, more knowledge because of the experience that I've gained.
Yeah.
And because I have a system and process in place, creating that SOP gives me the ability to know that this is going to either really, really work, or if not, it's going to need a few tweaks. And those SOPs that I put in place are now able to drop a new product and sell out within a few months.
So you're able to use what you've grown from this and use that as a platform
Absolutely.
now, and you've kind of that's nice.
Yeah, it's a stair-stepping method. If you're not learning from the first product and you didn't listen to the customer service.
So it's not like you got to scrap it and start all over again.
No. You want to iterate and build on top of, right? You want to create the next thing that people are going to want, that plus the stuff people were not just say, scrap it all.
Yeah, I was going to ask how many return customers you have.
33%. It's pretty good. So
that's really good.
Yeah, 1 out of every 3 customers come back.
What besides the water bottle was a challenge in your life?
Oh my gosh. My wife told me I could tell this. I haven't told it to anybody really, but my wife suffers, and she's in recovery now, but she was an alcoholic. She did a 30-day inpatient treatment because she couldn't quit. And I didn't know this. I met her in 2018. We got pregnant within a few months, and we had our son in 2019, and we got married shortly after. Within, I think, 2 months of him being born, we got married. And I didn't know this, but I saw signs that I was like, ew, what's going on? 2020 was pretty big because COVID kind of locked down and created a lot of issues for people. So I think it became more, it progressed quickly through the lockdowns and everybody trying to, self-medicate. When it became really bad was 2021. There was times where she would lie to me, not tell me what she was drinking, come home drunk. And I remember just taking care of my 2 kids and feeling like, this is all on me. There was nothing else. There was nobody coming to save me. There was nobody coming to help me. There was no, friend or family member that's just going to step in and take over. And having that mindset of there's no other option, and I have 2 kids and a family I have to take care of, it gave me more power to create the best possible product, to create the best possible outcome for me, and have no failure option in mind for that, right? If it was IonBottles or the dog bed or swimming pools or whatever it was, there was going to be something that I did not give up on until it became to the point where I could succeed. And now my wife is now 3 years sober, and it's been amazing to watch her transform. And some people are religious and believe in God, and me and myself, my wife, we really do believe that God put us together because she saw herself walking down a path of drinking and seeing where that was going to go was not a good place. She almost lost her kids, she almost lost her family. And she's told me that if it wasn't for me stepping in and being a light, that she wouldn't have sobered up and became the woman she is today. So that was a very tough time, because can you imagine trying to go through being unemployed with your 1-year-old and then having a second kid, and literally she was back to work within 60 days, and I'm now with a almost 2-year-old and a 2-month-old trying to create a business, and also have a wife that's going through her own struggles and dealing with that. It was tough. So I think those adversities create really, really good outcomes if you can overcome it and not let it succumb you.
Yeah, absolutely. That speaks
I'm glad you
big.
shared that.
Yeah, that's huge. That's actually something I don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that.
Not many people do know.
No, and we've been pretty good friends. And so going through all that, you also remodeled a big house.
Oh my gosh.
And I know we talked a lot, and I know the struggle on that.
Yeah. No,
That was a big project for you.
Yeah. No, I bought a house last year that turned out to be a very bad investment because the previous owners completely let it go. Just let it go. It was a built in 1998 home, gorgeous house up on the hills, but had so much dry rot and water damage, 3 floors of it, from the top deck all the way down. And we're talking 3 floors of having to replace studs, window sills, window beam, all that, the headers. Lots of money, lots of time. But when you go into something like that, my wife and I keep saying, like, there's nobody else I knew that could have gone through this. Maybe you, Arthur, I don't know. But going through that kind of thing, I was thinking, who else could put themselves in this position where they don't have to be out of their current home? They are buying this home and unknowingly have all this dry rot. Even though we had inspections done and all that, these people actually defrauded us. They hid it. They kept it under. And we even tried to legally go after them, but they moved to Minnesota and put the lawyer up, and it just became a heck of a time to get the finances back from them. But that experience, going through that and wishing, oh my God, why did I do this? Why did I do this? Knowing that at the outcome after I'm done, it's going to be, I'm so glad I did this.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I did this. And that's where we're at today.
It's a beautiful home, home. And I always tell people when they go through tough times like that it's not happening to you, it's happening for you.
Yeah.
There's a message in there for you.
Yeah.
And that you're going to be really good at the end of it, and something really grand is going to happen. And the success of your IonBottles and the success with your marriage is grand. I see pictures of the kids all the time and stuff, so that's remarkable.
And congratulations to your wife on that.
Yeah.
Because that's huge.
It
And
is.
a lot of people nowadays, it's like it's hush-hushed that you went through that. But a lot of people, they fight with that every day, So to share that, that's huge.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and tell her thank you for allowing you to share that story and putting it out there, because that is going to help other people.
I hope it does.
That will help other people, definitely.
She really wants that to be the case, because I know has her own shame, and everybody does, but her shame can sometimes really overcome her ability to share that. And when I told her I don't know if I'm comfortable sharing it, she wants me to. And I was, okay.
It's your struggles and your triumphs that define you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's empowering to share it, because you're basically showing out the weakest part of what you think you are, if that's what the shame is and all that, and to be able to expose that and say I'm stronger than what this could possibly mean outside of just me. That's really important. How old are you, by the way?
38. Turned 38 in April.
Nice. So young. It happens fast though, and I'm glad you're enjoying it.
38. So I've known you for 15 years now.
I was 25.
25. Jeez.
24, 25, yeah. Michael Laporte time.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a mindset that's I believe that people don't use the skills that they have to the fullest abilities. They are very much that they're confined to some kind of limitations in their brain.
Limiting beliefs.
And when they meet somebody, and I'll tell them every day, get a coach. You know, the best professional athletes, you talk about Steph Curry or like LeBron James, they have coaches. Kobe Bryant, even though he was coached, he still went afterwards and got coached again. And it just makes the people the better. It lets you open your mindset, lets you get your beliefs that you're limiting out of the way. You can achieve so much more than you told yourself. And before the pandemic, before I got let go, because I was limiting myself. I thought I had to have a career, I had to have a job, I had to work for somebody. And it was empowering. I felt prestige. I met people as cool as Arthur and got to hang out with great people and work. But I limited myself. I told myself that's my worth, that's what I'm good at, that's what I can do. But once the pandemic hit, I said, you know, what can I do? What am I really capable of? I fell back to my roots. I actually started a web hosting business when I was 15. This was 2001, 2000, something like that. I created a web hosting business. I was homeschooled for 1 year in Reseda, California, because there was a horrible incident at William Howard Taft High School on my second day of school there. And my mom said, you have to not go to school, go there, go home and work, because we'll homeschool you. But I was so grateful for that homeschooling period because it gave me the ability to learn computers. It gave me the ability to learn websites. It gave me the ability to learn design and all that, because if I didn't have that, I would have been in school learning what they told me to learn. And those limiting beliefs that I had from college and going on was all of that stuff that I did in that year of building websites and learning how to do that wasn't worth it. That was not what you should do. You should follow the college path, go to the career, get the corporate ladder, and climb that. That's what all my friends were doing. That's what I should do. It was so limiting to myself that I had blinders on.
What's nice is the walls are limiting, but they're also comfortable.
They were comfortable, yeah. And you felt comfortable in that space.
Yeah,
sure.
you know, then you get to your own business and you feel like Sound of Music, where you're just la la out in the middle of the field.
It is nothing like that.
Sound of Music in a field.
Oh my gosh, Mike.
What's funny is if you are not an entrepreneur, if you're not in your own business, that's what people think, and
They
so
think
they
that.
connect with that.
Yeah.
You talk to any entrepreneur, and this is the reaction you're going to get, you know. And so
You're just traveling all
I
over
just-
the world and drinking margaritas.
Yeah.
Playing
sitting
golf.
by a pool.
yeah,
Enjoying my freedom. It's like, no, those did not come without the hardships.
And the mind never shuts off.
It never shuts
It
off.
never shuts off, ever.
I know. My wife reminds me of that.
I've been in so many times where Crystal and I'll be having dinner together or enjoying a time. You know, our kids are grown now. We don't have the kids all the time,
Yeah.
you know? And we'll be sitting there and she'll be talking to me. She goes, Arthur, are you listening to me? And I'm like, oh yeah. Well, what did I just say? I hate when she asks me that question.
Yeah.
Because she catches me on that once in a while because my mind is on work.
You were
And-
processing something for sure.
Always.
But
Always.
we're driving the RV. My wife was asleep next to me, and I'm just driving. She turns up. She goes, "What are you thinking about?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? I'm just driving." She goes, "No, I can hear your brain from over here. It's just going 100 miles an hour." And I'm like, "Well, I was curious, you know, this 15-minute thing about, you know, what I've been thinking about and all this stuff." And she's finally got a trick, and this is a trick that maybe is whenever we go through a town, there'll be like a for sale sign of a business, and she always says, "Okay, so what would you do with that business right there? What do you think this town needs?" And then I can just start thinking about that part of it, and that's kind of how we get through those trips.
Is that
But
like giving kids coloring books? And
something like that.
I love that.
Calling
You
book.
play slug bug.
Think about this. What would you do here? I mean,
Yeah.
my wife does the same thing when I'm driving. She'll know when I'm slowing down. Like if we're 70 miles an hour and now I'm doing 62.
See, that's
She's like, "What are you thinking about?" Oh, sorry.
I get just into that.
Love that.
No, when we were kids, we used to do the slug bug, of course, but license plates. Try to figure out an acronym for the
That was me
license
and my
plate.
grandma.
And so, yeah, I don't know. But, well, we don't want to take up the entire day, you know, get out there and do some fun stuff. But more than anything else, I'd like to say thank you for coming. But I just want to say thank you for this.
Yeah.
This is awesome. I appreciate that. Ashley, have all your stuff up on the site. And
Oh,
so
tell us how we can get a hold of you and where we can find you at.
You can find me at IonBottles.com, or if you're on LinkedIn, just look for Bobby Samai. I'm on LinkedIn. Instagram is BobbyPNW.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And Samai is spelled Samai.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bobby's with a Y.
with a Y.
Okay. Now that I've made that into like some stew, it's actually BOBBYSAMAI.
That's correct.
All right. So, but more than anything else, appreciate it. It's very nice to meet you.
You too,
You
Mike.
know, and I love to hear the success stories, and nice to know that somebody out there has that same, you know, enthusiasm to be successful, you know, and with their own
I was
material.
surprised when you started with the word of failure.
Yeah.
That word right there was actually the word I was thinking of coming up. I live in Jefferson, and I was driving up here, and I was, what can I talk about? Failure. Because that is the most resonating feeling most people have.
Yep.
They feel like failures all the time. And what I can tell to somebody who feels like a failure all the time is that's not permanent. Learn from that. Take that failure down and just like say, okay, that's not who I am. I'm going to learn from that failure, and I will overcome that failure. And then you do. If you stay consistent, you'll overcome that failure.
Yeah, that fear of failure too is
For
a
sure.
big thing, a really big thing that people have to.
Be okay with it.
Yeah, they have to sit in it a little bit and process that.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, again, thank you for being a part of what we do, and I would love an update on the new product when it comes out.
Will do.
Now that I know you, I'm going to stay connected to you, and that no stalking involved or anything like that.
We'll come get some
wanna,
pizza soon.
You know, but I do appreciate taking the time, because that's big. You know, I mean, you came all the way up from your house and all that. Take some time with just you and I, and so I appreciate it.
Of course.